Shannon, and today we're going to move through half the practice. I'm going to add some flow, so just get yourself ready. I'm just here a couple minutes early. You can get your mat ready. If you have yoga blocks, you can get those ready as well. And yeah, we'll just get started in a few moments. Hello, welcome. I'm just going to grab some water, but just get yourself set up. We'll be starting in a moment. Okay, good morning everyone, and if you're just joining us, just getting yourself ready, get settled, some yoga props if you have them, and your mat, maybe a glass of water, and we're going to start on our seat. If you're feeling like sitting up might not be the best place for you, you can maybe come into child's pose to start off. And if you've already joined us, you could start to connect into your breath here. And if you, we're just going to wait, I'm just going to wait a minute here or so to get people to arrive and to, I'm a little bit early. I tend to be early. So just starting to connect into your breath if you've already arrived, getting yourself set up. And for those of you that just arrived, we're going to be moving through a Hatha practice with some flows. So, I'll give lots of options, but getting yourself set up, and you could start to connect into your breath here while we just wait a minute or two. Alright, so good morning everyone. If you just arrived, start to find a tall seat, and or you could come into child's pose, get yourself settled. We're going to start to connect into our breath. If you haven't already, my name is Shannon. If you haven't met me before, hello, welcome. We'll start with just a fluid breath. So see if you can move your breath up into your collarbones, and then as you exhale, feel your sit bones, your legs, everything begin to get really grounded here. So your breath in will allow some space to come in, and your exhale can allow you to let go and actually find a little bit of settling here. Okay, so just eyes open or eyes closed, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And just find a rhythm of for your breath that works for you. Your exhale could be a little bit longer than your inhale. Or they could be the same length, and as you're breathing, you may lengthen your inhale a bit more and your exhale a bit more. Just find what works for you here. If you find that your mind is very busy this morning, see if you can count as you inhale and exhale, or just start to bring your focus back to breathing, noticing where your breath's moving in and the feeling of your breath moving all the way out, maybe drawing your navel towards your spine as you exhale. As you're ready, bring your hands to your heart. You can bring them to your palms together. You can bring your hands over your heart. I'm going to open today's practice with an Om. So you're more than welcome to listen, or you can join in with me. We'll start with a clearing breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And then inhale for Om. Just take a moment to bow your head towards your heart. Take a moment of gratitude here. Thank yourself. And release your hands down. Lifting your head, opening up your eyes if they're closed. And let's move right into tabletop today. So coming to bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Create a little bit of movement here, inhaling and exhaling. You could have your eyes closed and intuitively move here. Just allow your body to flow in a way that feels good. So just creating some movement, creating some space in your body. And adding in any movement here that feels good. So just moving in a way that supports some opening through your spine, maybe through your hips. And just taking another couple breaths. So let's make our way. Just take a quick pause in Child's Pose today. This is an opportunity for you to pause at any point during the practice. So taking Child's Pose is an opportunity just to pause and maybe connect here to your breath, just to let some energy settle. Find some grounding. Take a couple deep breaths here in Child's Pose. Rise and come back up to tabletop, and let's create a little bit of movement here. So extend your right leg back and keep both arms really strong and planted. Your exhale will be a knee to chest, forehead to knee, and your inhale will be an extension back, heart forward. You could add your opposite arm in, drawing both in, trying to round still through your spine on your exhale. Inhale, extend out, heart forward. If it's too much with your hand extending, just work with your knee here, and we're going to take a few more breaths. So let's come back to the center and pause for a moment here. You could move through cat and cow, or you can just pause in the center. And then let's extend our left leg back here. And same thing, both arms are strong and straight. Exhale, knee to chest. You're going to push through your arms to round your spine. And then inhale, extend back. And again, you could always add your opposite arm here, working on a little bit of balance. But if it creates too much pressure in your shoulder or your arm, bring both hands down. We'll just take a few more breaths here. And just as you're ready, we're going to come back. I'm just going to take a moment in Child's Pose, circle out my wrists a few times, and just let that go a bit. Take a couple clearing breaths here. And we're going to move into down dog. For those of you that are not coming into down dog, or you're going to take maybe down dog just for a few breaths, you could make your way into a standing forward fold at any point. So that would be standing on your feet, folding over your legs. For those of you coming into down dog, take a moment here to create a bit of space, walk it out. Maybe lift both heels and lower them down, just finding some space in the back of your legs. And in down dog, you want to bend your knees and you want to be less in plank. You want to be pushing your hips up and back and finding that extension through your spine here. So if your legs are really tight, bend them deeply so you can get that lift through your hips first. We are going to make our way into a forward fold either by walking, stepping your feet forward. You can grab opposite elbows here. You can let your arms hang. Let your head release a little bit more and take a couple more deep breaths here. And then bring your hands to your shins and let's lift up halfway. Lengthen your heart forward, shoulders come back. Exhale to fold back in. As you lift up halfway, we're trying to straighten our arms and our legs. Take an inhale to lift up halfway. And an exhale, fold back in. And one more time here. And then bring your hands to your hips, look forward slightly, push through your feet, take a breath in to rise. And exhale, hands by your side. Good. Let's inhale, let's reach your arms up. And then exhale, let's forward fold. Come all the way back down. And take an inhale, let's lift up halfway. And then exhale, fold back in. And then hands to your hips, look forward. Inhale, rise up. This time, let's reach our arms up. And hands come down to heart center. Good. Inhale. Reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take an inhale. Let's lift up halfway here. Now let's step our left foot back. Bring your back knee down to the ground. You can place a block or a cushion. Hands can come up to your front leg or your hips. And we're going to just check your front knees over your ankle, settling into your lunge here, and then maybe reaching your arms up overhead. Taking a few breaths here. On your exhale, let's bring our hands down. Let's step back to downward facing dog. For those of you skipping down dog, you can take child's pose. You can come to tabletop at this time. All right, on your inhale, let's come forward to plank pose. Knees up or knees down. You could always start with your knees down and then bend your elbows and lower all the way down. We're going to take Cobra here. So hands underneath your shoulders. Untuck your toes. Press down. Lift your heart. Shoulders rolling back. If you can press into your hands, not jam into your lower back. Try not to have your shoulders up around your ears. Take a little lift. And then we're going to move all the way back. You can move to child's pose or downward dog for a couple breaths here. And then we're going to step or walk forward. Let's take a forward fold at the front of our mats. Take an inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold in. And then rise to stand. Reach your arms up at the top. And hands down to heart center. Good. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, let's fold in. Let's find that halfway lift, inhale. Now let's step our right foot back. Right knee comes down. And then hands up to your hips, hands up to your front leg. Or you can reach your arms up overhead. Or even take goddess or cactus arms. I've got my elbows bent here. Front knees over your ankle. Connect into your breath. exhale, hands come down. Let's step back to downward dog again here. On your inhale, come forward to plank. You can skip this part and stay in down dog. You could come to child's pose. Knees up or knees down. Let's lower. And inhale for Cobra. And exhale. Let's move back, downward facing dog or child's pose. Couple breaths. And let's walk or step forward. Take your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And then rise. Let's come all the way up to stand. And hands to heart center. Good. All right. So we're going to move into chair pose here. Hands on your hips. Your feet can be hip distance apart. We're going to sit down. Knees move back, hips move back and down, hands on your front leg, shoulders come back. You could have your hands at your hips or at your heart. You could also extend your arms forward, shoulder blades come back in, or arms up overhead. Core draws in, so your lower belly pulls in, tailbone draws down slightly here. One more breath in, lift your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's step our left foot back again here. This time we're going to come up into a high lunge, hands up to your hips. You could always choose a low lunge because I'm going to give lots of options here. Hips square forward to the front of your mat, front knees over your ankle. And you could come to cactus arms, hands at your heart, arms up overhead. Couple more breaths. On your exhale, bring both hands down. Keep your left hand on the ground. You can walk your right foot a little wider if you like. You can also keep your back knee lifted or on the ground. We're going to turn towards the right. You can reach your arm up or you can have your hand on your hip here. And when you're ready, hands come down. Let's step back to downward dog. You can stay in down dog. You can move through a vinyasa, or you can come to child's pose. Take a breath or two here. And then from down dog, lift your left leg up. Step your left foot forward, give it a little help, grab your ankle if you need to, and let's rise and come up to a high lunge on the other side. Hips facing forward, settling into your lunge. Have your hands at your heart, have your arms overhead or cactus arms, goddess arms. And when you're ready, hands coming down. You can walk your left foot a little wider. You can bring your right hand down, turn towards the left, high or low lunge here, hand on your hip or arm extending up. And let's bring our hands down. Let's step back again to downward dog. Again, you can move through vinyasa here. You can stay in down dog, or you can take a moment here to pause, gather your breath, settle some energy. Good. Let's make our way back to the front of our mat, taking a forward fold, walking or stepping forward. Take an inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Now we're going to sit into chair pose from here. So sitting your hips down, bring your hands to your front of your legs, hands at your heart, arms up. And then let's stand up, inhale, and hands to heart center, exhale. Good. All right. So we're going to work with a little bit of transition here in balance. Excuse me. So let's start with our right foot on the ground. Left knee lifts up. Find some length through your spine. You can hold the top of your knee if you like and draw in, really rooting down through your standing leg. Core's drawing in, shoulders back. You can let go here. And then we're going to bend into your standing leg, move your left foot back, touch your toes down, plant your heel. You may need to adjust your stride a bit here for warrior one. So back heel's down, hips facing forward. Reach your arms up or take goddess or cactus arms here. Tailbone draws down, heart lifts, connect to your breath. So you can always adjust your stride. If your back heel is not rooted, try to take a shorter stride here. You could also interlace your hands behind you and do a bit of a heart opener here. A bit more of a heart opener. Now, we're going to come towards warrior three, which is again a balance. So we're going to lean forward, lift your back heel, come to stand on your right foot again, lift your back leg up, warrior three. You can have your arms reaching back, arms reaching forward. If you fall out, just come on back in. Then we're going to tip back up, lift your left knee up towards your chest again, and then come back to mountain. Take a moment here. Maybe take a clearing breath or two. Allow yourself to get grounded and rooted in both feet in mountain here. All right, so we're going to do those poses on the other side. If you're falling out of balance, just come on back in. Like, just fall out and then come back in, fall out, come back in. It's all good. So this side might feel different. Standing on your left leg, this time lift your right knee, lift up through your heart. You can hold your knee and draw up and then let it go. Now we're going to bend into our standing leg, lean forward, kick your right foot back, land your foot, plant your heel, hips forward, and keep your heel planted. So adjust your stride, and then coming into warrior one, upper body lifts upright. You can reach your arms up, goddess arms, or clasp your hands behind you. Okay, and when you're ready, hands to your heart or hands to your hips, lift your back heel, lean forward. We're moving to warrior three, back leg lifts up. Any arm variation of your choice. Try to square your hips. You're lifting from your back inner thigh. And then we're going to tip up, draw your right knee up towards your chest again, and back to mountain. Take a moment here. Clearing breath. Feel both feet rooted. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. And then let's rise to stand, reach our arms up. And hands to heart center. All right, so we're going to go through another transition. This time, instead of stepping back to warrior one, we're going to step back to warrior two. So standing on your right leg again, lift your left knee up. You can hold, find your length, core drawing in, let go of your leg. And then from here, bending into your standing leg a bit, lean forward, kicking all the way back, turn your back heel down, turn your hips to the long edge of your mat, maybe wiggle your stride a bit here. Good. Warrior two. Relax into your shoulders. Taking side angle, bringing your forearm, elbow lightly to your thigh or to the inside of your knee, or some of you have blocks. You can bring your hands down or do other variations of this. And you can have your arm extended up You can reach forward. You can have your hand on your hip. Take your shoulders back and then turn. There's a little twist here from your rib cage open towards your heart. Back leg super rooted. Let's rise and come all the way up. Straighten out your front leg. Take a breath in. Let's move to triangle. Front hand comes down. And again, back hand can reach up. Connect to your breath here. Okay, let's look down. Move your hands down. Let's step back to three-legged dog. So lift your right leg up. Maybe bend your knee, open your hip up to the side here. Hopefully you're not having a fail, wardrobe fail. And let's come back. You can come to child's pose. You can move through vinyasa. You can stay in down dog. Wherever it is that you are, let's walk. Step your feet forward. Come to your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take a moment here to pause. You can take a toe lock. First two fingers go in between your big and second toe and wrap underneath your big toe. Lengthen here, fold in. And then release, inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's just take a little slow ragdoll up to stand. Take a few breaths. Make your way up. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to do all that on the other side. I'm going to turn this way. So, standing on your left foot this time, lift your right knee up. You can hold your knee, find that little bit of length, and then let go. Then we're going to tip forward with your body, step back with your right foot, turn your heel down, then line up. So you might need to adjust your stride a bit here. And we're coming back to warrior two, just on the other side. Connecting to your breath. And then side angle pose. We're going to reach forward, light elbow to your front leg or to the inside. Turn open here. You can have your hand on your hip. You can extend your arm overhead or stretch forward, connecting to your breath here. Let's rise. Let's come all the way up. Straighten out your front leg. Inhale. Reach forward. Triangle pose here. Front hand comes down. Back arm reaches up. Connect to your breath. And when you're ready, you're going to look down. Hands come down. Let's step back to three-legged dog. Okay. Maybe open your hip, bend your knee. Or you can skip this part. And when you're ready, you're going to come back. Again, you can move through vinyasa. You can come to downward dog or child's pose. You can always take a moment just to pause for a few breaths here. All right, so if you're in downward dog still, bring your knees down to the ground for a second. We're going to work through a side plank and a side plank variation today. So I just want to show you the variation so you have a visual before we move into it. So from down dog, we'll come to plank pose. Now I'm going to roll to the outside of my right foot. I'm going to step my left foot out in front of my body. And then I'm going to push down into my feet. So I'm on the outside edge of my left foot. My right foot's out in front of me, or the opposite to that. And then coming down here. So I'll show you what that looks like on the other side here. All right. And that's our side plank variation. And then we may move into side plank as well from here. All right, so when you're ready, coming to downward facing dog. Now come forward to plank pose, shoulders over your wrists. Roll to the outside of your right foot. Step your left foot out in front of you. So your knees bent. Now push into your feet, lift your hips up, push into your right hand, and maybe bring your left hand to your left hip or extend it up towards the ceiling. And when you're ready, we're going to come down, step back to downward facing dog, and then come forward to plank pose. Roll to the outside of your left foot, right foot steps out in front, push into your feet, maybe bring your right hand to your right hip or right hand up towards the ceiling. And when you're ready, hands come down, step back, and let's take a moment to pause in child's pose. Take a couple clearing breaths here. Okay, so I'm gonna add in that side plank into our next sequence. So you can either do that side plank or a full side plank, your choice, okay? So let's move back to downward dog. I have a sneeze coming. Okay, not escaped me. So lift your right leg up. Step your right foot forward. We're going to come back up to warrior two, actually. So coming all the way up. Warrior two. And then start to straighten out your front leg here. Extend out through your arms. Take a breath in. Reach forward. So we're coming back to triangle pose. Option here, keep your bottom arm extended. Reach your top arm up or forward, depending on your shoulder. And turn your heart open. So a little bit more core stability here. If not, your hand can come down to your shin again. And then you're going to look down, bring both hands down, lift your back leg up, come to standing splits, or it looks more like your warrior three leg here. Pressing down, or mine does. Pressing down into your standing leg, lift your back leg up, fold in. Now, bend into your standing leg, step your back foot all the way back. We're going to step back to plank pose, roll to the outside of your left foot, and step your right foot in front of you. Or stack both feet, side plank here. And when you're ready, you're going to come down, come back to down dog, move through vinyasa, or come to child's pose, your choice. All right, so let's come back to downward dog. From downward dog, lift your left leg up and step your left foot forward. And let's come up to warrior two. Okay. Straighten out our front leg. Take a breath in here and reach forward. So you're either going to come to triangle pose with your hand down, or you're going to use your core strength here to hold you. And you can always switch it up a bit. And then when you're ready, looking down, hands come down, standing splits, pressing down through your standing leg, lift your back leg up. When you're ready, step your back foot all the way back. Step back to plank pose. Roll to the outside of your right foot. You're either going to stack your feet or step your left foot out in front of you. And when you're ready, we're going to come down. You can come back to down dog. You can move through vinyasa. You can pause in child's pose. Take a few breaths wherever it is that you are. Okay. So either from down dog or from tabletop, let's step our right foot forward. A couple options here. Bring your right foot a little wider actually. You're either going to turn and take a twist here towards your front leg, reaching your arm up. You can even have your hand on a yoga block if you have one. Or you're going to reach back with your right hand, grab the top of your left foot, and settle into your lunge here. You're still twisting if you have the thigh stretch. If you can't grab your foot, don't even try, just come into the twist. Give yourself a moment to just breathe. We're going to release that, straighten out your front leg. Now, if you have your blocks, you can bring them on either side of your front leg. Lift the bottom of your foot, square your hips forward. I'm going to stay lifted here right now, but you could bend your elbows and fold in a bit if you like. And come back to your breath. Drag your heel back, and you could walk it out in down dog. You could circle out your hip from tabletop. You could come to child's pose for a couple breaths. And then either from down dog or from tabletop, step your left foot forward. Left foot's a bit wider, toes turned out a bit, and you can turn and twist here. You can hang out here in the twist, or some of you may reach back, grab the top of your right foot with your left hand, settling back into your twist here, and heart turning open, connecting to your breath. And when you're ready, let's release that. Walk your front foot in a bit. Straighten out your front leg. You can move your back knee back and lift the bottom of your foot. Flex your toes back towards you and maybe fold in here. Drag that heel back. You could come to down dog. You could come to child's pose, or you could move in tabletop a bit here. All right. So let's come up to our seat for a moment. So we're going to move into boat pose. I'm going to give a couple options here. The first one, we're going to start with our hands planted behind us, fingertips pointing towards the front of your mat. Shoulders roll back and down, elbows draw in. You could lift both feet or one foot at a time here and hug your knees in, lift your heart up towards your legs. And you could stay here, or you could bring your hands behind your knees, again lift your heart. You could also lift your shins a bit higher. And you could also let your hands go here. Some of you can straighten your legs. I can't right now. Just gonna take a couple more breaths. Boat. And then when you're ready, we're gonna release. You can bring your hands behind you, feet wide. Windshield wiper your knees a few times from side to side. And one more time, we're going to come into boat pose. So that might be different for everybody here. You can have your hands behind you for a bit more support. You could extend your arms forward. You could have your hands underneath your knees. Connect to your breath here. When you're ready, let's release that out. Again, give yourself a release. Could be extending your legs forward, or it could be windshield wipering your knees. Good. So I'm going to offer up crow pose today for those of you practicing crow. Not everybody should or will do this. If you don't know crow pose, it is an arm balance. For those of you that haven't practiced it before, I don't recommend this is the time to start. It's better to do in a classroom environment where you can get a bit of support from the instructor, from the teacher. For those of you that are not coming into crow pose, you could take Malasana squat pose. So you could come into squat pose here. For those of you that are going to come into crow pose, just remember to look forward, don't look down, and you want to really get your hips up, lifted, and maybe one foot at a time, or maybe both feet. And then just whenever you're done, whenever you feel like you're ready to come out, you're going to come on out. You could join everybody in Malasana squat pose here. Take a few breaths. We're going to come back onto our seats. Whenever you're ready, extending your legs, shaking it out. So we're going to take pigeon pose. For those of you that that don't feel comfortable in pigeon with your knee, or just doesn't work for your body, come to lie on your back, come into figure 4. So pigeon pose is your knee a little wider than your hip on the same side. Coming down. If you feel any pressure in your knee, it's not worth it. Come onto your back, here, or here, figure 4 pose. So wherever it is that you are, we're going to spend maybe about a minute and a half. Let's see, what time are we at? Okay, so yeah, about a minute and a half here. Connecting into your breath, knowing that you can come out at any time. So wherever it is that you are, you could begin to transition out if you haven't already. Give yourself a little bit of a release here, some movement, and then do whatever you need to do before coming to the other side. Some of you may want to come right to the other side, that's okay too. And wherever it is that you land, if you come into pigeon on the side and it's not working, your knee feels pressure, or you feel a load on your knee, just come onto your back, come into figure four, and settle in there. And then come back to your breath here. We're going to again be here for maybe about a minute, minute and a half on this side again. Just a few more breaths here. Okay, when you're ready, making your way out of this side, you could give yourself any kind of release that you'd like to release here. And then we are going to come up onto our seat. So if you're on your back, just rolling onto a side, making your way up onto your seat. If you have a rolled up blanket or a yoga block, you could sit up on a block to give yourself a little bit of height. So if you were joining me last night, we did a wide-legged forward fold. So we're going to do that here again. I'm going to add in a little bit of a twist, okay? So let's start in the center, fingertips behind you, lengthening up. You could begin to lean forward here. If you're leaning in a lot, you could bring your hands forward and try to keep some length through your spine, okay? Connecting to your breath, you can have your toes flexed here. I'm going to spend just maybe about 5 more breaths here. So just as you're ready, we're going to lift up and take your right arm on the inside of your right leg, left hand to your left hip. Put a little pressure to the inside of your leg so you can turn your chest open and keep your left sit bone down. So some of you might be okay here. Some of you might be able to reach up, maybe over. Some of you are going to be able to grab a hold of your foot without collapsing your shoulders forward, okay? Wherever it is that you are, you want to feel some length through the side of your body. And then just as you're ready, we're going to lift up, come to the other side. And the side might feel different. So again, anchoring through both sit bones, heart open by a little pressure to the inside of your leg. You can reach up, you reach over, or you can just stay here. And let's rise and come back up. Take 1 or 2 breaths in the center. Let's come all the way back up. Bring your legs back towards one another. You can windshield wiper, you can give them a bit of a shake. We will be coming onto our back, and we will be, you could use a rolled up blanket or a block or some kind of support, maybe a bolster underneath you. And we're gonna use that to lift our hips up. So come to roll onto your back here. So option here to take the block or the bolster or a roll up blanket underneath you. Extend your legs towards the ceiling, draw your shoulder blades underneath you, and you can roll your ankles a couple times and just let your legs hang here, connecting to your breath. Some of you, this is just a very gentle inversion. If you have another inversion that you practice, you feel free to come into anything else, okay? So some of you might be practicing other types of inversions that are a bit more rigorous. I'm just not going to teach that online at this point where I can't support people in the way that I feel like for somebody new anyways would need a little bit of support. Now you can stay here. You could bring both feet to the ground. Extend your legs forward. If that feels pinchy in your lower back, bring your legs back up, or just take the block from underneath you. Just take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, feet come down. Release your bolster, your block, your blanket, whatever you have there. Hug your knees up into your chest. Maybe rock a little bit here. And then we're going to finish with a twist before Shavasana. You could take a 2-knee twist. For those of you who want a bit of a deeper twist, we're going to move our knees to the right first, but you could cross your left leg over your right and bring both knees to the right. It is quite a bit of a deeper twist than stacking your legs, so please just be mindful this might not be for you. Ready, unravel your legs with the ravel. Bring your knees to the center. If you're taking the legs crossed, you're going to take your right leg over top of your left, and then knees up and over to the left here. And again, this may be too deep of a twist, so just unravel your legs, stack one leg on top of the other. When you're ready, let's return to the center. One more movement in the center. You could have knees to chest. Some of you may want to come into happy baby pose here, evening out your lower back. But you could have just your knees towards your chest, hugging it in a little bit here. And just whenever you're ready, we're going to move right into Shavasana. For those of you that are not comfortable on your back, find a comfortable place, whether it's your seat, child's pose, on your side. If you need a blanket or a sweater or something, just get yourself settled in. And then once you're settled, give yourself a couple clearing breaths here, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Give yourself this time to just be. some gentle movement with your body. Maybe give yourself a full body stretch or bring your knees up into your chest. And just whenever you're ready, come to roll onto your side. Just take a few breaths here. As you're ready, coming up to your seat. Taking your hands maybe over your heart or hands at heart center. And again, take a moment to bow your mind to your heart. Allow yourself to be led by your heart. Let your heart serve you in your choices and as you move forward through this day and this time. Allow your heart to be open to receive and to give. I've seen so many acts of generosity that has restored my faith in a lot of humanity in this time. So thank you all. I know everybody's doing their part. Well, most people are doing their part to help others at this time, so it doesn't go unnoticed, and I know so many people are with so much gratitude right now, so I'm so filled with gratitude. I want to thank everybody for taking part in these classes and reaching out, and it means so much at this time for me, so thank you. I am going to seal this practice with an Om, and again, you can listen or join in. Start with a clearing breath again. And inhale for Om. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm back here tomorrow night, that's Friday night, for a bit more of a gentle practice. And if you missed last night, there was a gentle practice and I've saved it. I'm uploading all the videos to YouTube so we can reach some people that aren't on Facebook. And yeah, I'm going to start a new series, online series. It'll be a registered series, so I'll have more information posted on that soon. Yeah, thank you all, and invite your friends to join in to do yoga with you. Like to see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.